Okay, to create the accessory section, we're going to do this the easy way. We're going to come over here and we'll close this grid. And we're going to take the title Styles for Men, click on the gear icon, and we're going to duplicate that. We'll go back. And what we're going to do is, here's the duplicate. Just going to take this and slide it below everything here. There we go. And let's close that. And next what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're just going to copy this as well, duplicate it. So we'll come up here to products, duplicate, we'll go back. Here's the duplicate, so we're just going to click and drag that down underneath the second Styles for Men. Perfect. So let's go back in here, we'll double click it. And let's change this title to Top Accessories. That looks good. Click Apply. And we'll update that as well. Next we'll double click this Products. And we're going to keep it normal. Slider full width, we'll keep that. That looks good. We're going to change this to 4 columns. And let's drag down here. Oops. And change this to category to accessories. Perfect. Okay, let's come back up here. These are all good. Let's keep this the same. Total posts, let's make this 4 because we only have 4 accessories. And short by post, we'll keep that like that is. Image, just go ahead and change this to 16 by 9 because you can see these are all kind of messed up here. This is shorter than everything else. So let's change this to 16 by 9 and let's increase this to 125%. There we go. And now let's change the size to original. Beautiful. Much better. Okay. Everything else is good. Let me scroll down here. Still have our hover effect. Adds the shadow underneath. That's nice. That looks good. Keep the text centered. I like that. Yeah, it looks good. So let's go ahead and apply. And let's update. And that was really easy. So let's see what it looks like. Nope, it's still loading UX Builder. Okay, so let's go back to the front here. And we'll refresh the page. That looks good. Now what we can do is if you want to do this, we can add some spacing above the title to separate the sections a little more. I'm not going to do that, but I'll show you how to do that real quick. We'll go back in here and what we would do is we would go to title. So let's go to Styles for Men. And what we do is come down here to margin top and we just click and drag to the right and you can see it would bring the margin down. You can do 20 pixels, whatever you want, and drag to the left to decrease it. You can even bring it closer and it would go to -20, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and backspace, delete that. Hit apply, update. I'm just going to leave it like it is. Now what we're going to do is we are going to create the blog section. Before we create the blog section, I need to fix something real quick. If I scroll up here, you can see that the Styles for Women title, the decorative line is a lot shorter than the one for the Styles for Men and the Top Accessories titles. And the reason being is I accidentally put that title in this row here and I put it in the second column. If I open this up, you can see the title is right here. So if you did that as well, it's an easy fix. Just click and first we'll drag it above the row. And now it's going to be up here. And now we'll close this row and we'll click and drag it below the row above products. There we go. And now you can see the decorative line on either side is the same width as the other titles. So I apologize if that confused you. Mistakes do happen. So let's go down here, and now we're going to, let's update that first, of course. And now we're going to create the blog section. So what we'll do is we'll come down here and actually scratch that. We'll just copy this title. So let's go over here and top accessories. We're going to click the gear icon, click duplicate. We'll go back to the menu here. And here's the second one. So just click and drag that below products. And now our title is down here. So we'll double click on it. We'll change this to say latest news. And this time we're going to change the style from center to center bold. And that puts a nice decorative rectangle around the title. That looks good. We'll keep everything else the same. I'm going to click apply and we'll update that. And now we need to create blog posts because we can't have a blog section unless we first create blog posts. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up here to the front of the page, and where it says new, we're going to click post. And I'm going to go to my website here, and I'm going to go to each blog post and open them. So I'll just open these in new tabs. Okay, so creating a blog post is easy in WordPress. First, you add a title. I'm just going to copy and paste this content so it goes a lot faster. And you can use Control V or Command V if you're on the Mac to paste. So there we go, we have a title. Down here is the content area. This is where you'll do all your typing. And if you can see this toggle toolbar is set. So if it looks like that and you don't have the second row, just click this button here and it'll open up the second row for you. You can also use the text editor, which types text. So if you know HTML, you can write in your code here. But we'll go back to the visual tab because WordPress does all the work for you. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to copy this blog post. Oops. Control V. There we go. And I'm going to get rid of the space here. Okay, so this is pretty similar to any other text editing program like Microsoft Word. You just type using your keyboard. You can create headings by using this up here. You can choose a heading from 1 to 6. You can see this is already a heading 3. And if you want to insert an image into your blog, just put the cursor where you want it. Let's say there was no space here. I would come over here to the end of the sentence and click the enter button. That would create a space. Come up here to where it says add media, click that. And then just choose your image. I'll just choose this back of the watch here. Click insert into post. And there you go. Now if you click on the image, you can change where you want the image to be positioned. Right now it's not aligned, but if I want it aligned in the center, I would click here. Now it's in the center. If I want it to the right, I would click there. If I want it to the left, I would click there. And if I go back to no alignment, you can see there's no text next to it. You can also click this pencil icon and do your editing in here. You can add an alternative text. And this is good for if your image for some reason would not load on the web page, this text would show up in place of the image. You can add a caption under the image. Here you can also align the image again, just like I showed you on the front end. Here you can choose the size of the image, choose a thumbnail, and you can see it gets smaller over here. Medium, full size, and you can do a custom size if you wanted to. You can even link this image to a media file, attachment page, a custom URL. If you want to link it to a completely different website, web page on a different website, you can do that. And none. And there are also advanced options. So I'm going to go ahead and once you're ready, you update. And now you can see my caption appears underneath the image here. Next, what you want to do is create a category. So this category is going to be, let me see, fashion. This is the category here. So I'm going to add a new category. Once you type your category, click Add New Category. And you now see the category fashion has been created. This is a lot like when we created products. You can also add tags. I'm not going to, but you need to set your featured image. So click Set Featured Image. And that will be the image that shows up here. This is the featured image on top of the content. So I'm going to go to Upload Files, select Files, and I'll go to the website folder, blog page. And this is blog post 1, featured image, and there it is. So I'll open that. And then I'll click Set Featured Image. And now you see I have a featured image. Okay. Now, up here you have the screen options. If you open that, you can add these different menu items, and they'll show up down here in this section. So first what I'm going to do is, before I do that, actually I'll add that now. So discussion, this will add the discussion menu and allow you to have comments, let people leave comments at the end of your blog post. So I'm going to check that box so they can leave a comment, and I'm going to get rid of this because I don't want trackbacks and pingbacks on this page. And if I come up here, we can add the author menu. I'll just add all these so you can see what they are. I'll close this, and now you'll see all these menu items are down here. Excerpt is, I'll show you what that is after we publish it and put it on the home page. Send trackbacks to, I'm not worried about that. Custom fields, you create custom fields. I'm not going to go into that. Slug is this is a slug up here. So on the actual page of the blog, this would be the slug right here, which is actually the title that we put in, 5 fashion trends that are making a comeback. So you can change that if you want to by typing it in here. And then of course you could choose author, which is, there's only one author because there's only one user, which is me. So if there are other users, their name would show up here and you could choose them as an author. So once your blog post is done, you click publish. And now we'll click View Post, or you can click View Post, or you can click the permalink. Either one will take you to the front of the blog page. And now you can see our blog post. We have our title. This is our category. This is the date it was posted. Our featured image. We have our content. Our image in the content with our caption. Of course, we have titles that I created. And they can even leave a comment down here. And now you can see it says, Matt says, great post. Okay. So that's our comment. If we go back to edit post, We could even publish it on a different date if you wanted. You could schedule it to publish at a later date by putting in the date and time here and clicking OK. And then it would schedule and it wouldn't publish until that date and time came up. And you can also preview your changes by clicking this. Let's say I made a change like I didn't want this image, so I clicked remove, but I wasn't sure, so I wanted to preview it first before I updated it. Click preview changes. And now I can preview the page, and you can see the image is gone because I removed it. But I haven't updated the page yet. So if I click here and open this, you can see the image is still there because I haven't updated my changes. I just previewed the changes. So that's a great way to preview your changes before you actually update the page. So we'll go ahead and get rid of this. And everything looks good. I'm going to go ahead and click the undo button and my image comes back because I do want that image in there. So now I'll just update it just to be safe, but I don't really have to. Okay, so now let's create the next blog post. I'm just going to do that real quick. So I'll click add new. Okay guys, so I created 3 blog posts. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go back to the home page, to the UX builder, and we're going to add the blog post element. So we'll come down here, well actually we'll come over here and we'll click add elements, and we'll type in blog, and we'll click blog posts. And they have these different presets. I'm just going to keep it on normal, so I'll click apply. And now you can see our blog posts have shown up. And they actually show up with the latest post first. So you can see this is first, this is second, and this is third because this is the first one I created. So let's go ahead and change these things. I'll go through this menu real quick. Style, you can change it to these different ones, vertical if you wanted to. Default, I'm going to leave it on default. Type, slider. You could have a full slider, and now it's a full slideshow if you wanted. You could have row and masonry, grid. I'm going to keep it on slider. Container, I want it to be full width. And you can see this hello world here. Let's go ahead. I'm going to show you how to delete that right now because that's the sample blog post that WordPress adds by default when you install WordPress. So let's go back over here and we'll go back to our dashboard. We'll come down here to posts, all posts. And this is the hello world sample post. So go ahead and click trash. And you see these are the 3 blog posts I just created. We'll go to trash and we'll click empty trash. And this will get rid of that sample blog post. We'll go back to the dashboard. And then we'll go back to the UX builder and I'm going to apply and update this. And that should disappear now. Nope. So I'll refresh the page. And now that sample post is gone. So we'll go back to the blog post menu. And you can see it's set to 4 columns. That's why this is empty. So I'm going to set this to 3 because I only have 3 blog posts. There we go. Depth hover, that's just like with we did with the others. It creates a shadow under here. I'm not going to add that. I do want to animate it, so I'm going to have it fade into the right. Nice cool effect. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down here. Slider, you can have reveal. These are the navigation controls. I'm going to have it set to circle. I'll leave it dark. And I can see there's no navigation because I only have 3 blog posts. If I had 4 of them or 6 or whatever, the circles would show up on either side. So I'll just leave it like that. That's fine. So let's see. Let's go back down to posts. Here you can add one post at a time if you want. These are the 3 blog posts I created. Or you could add just certain categories of blog posts. So if I click fashion, not only the 2 blog posts with the category fashion show up, the one with the category accessories is gone. So I'm going to go ahead and X that out because I want to show all of them. Total posts, I only have 3, but it's set by default to 8. You could change this to however many posts you want to have in your slider. Title, that's this right here. I want that to be large. And you now see it's a little larger. If I set it to extra, extra large, it's much larger. I'll set that back to large. Title style, you could change it to all capitals if you wanted to. I'm going to keep it normal. Whatever you type in here, read more, the text, will create a text, a button with that text. So I'm just going to create read more. There you can see we have a read more button now. The color, I'm going to choose primary because I want to keep my buttons all the same. I'm going to choose default. It's not going to fill it in until you hover over it. Size, I'm going to have them as large. Actually, no, I'll keep it as normal. That's too big. That looks good. Meta. Meta is the badge of the date, I believe, which is right here. So you can have it as text. And it doesn't show up. It shows up down here now as text. And you can even hide it if you want to. Oops. If you don't want it all, you can choose hidden. And now it doesn't show up at all. I'm going to choose badge. You can choose the badge style. You can have square if you want. And now it's filled in solid square. I'll just leave that as default as well. You can have it fade in on hover, slide in on hover. And that didn't really do anything. Okay, so just keep it as visible. Oh, that's the excerpt. I'm sorry. That's this down here. So the excerpt, we can have it hidden if we don't want to show this. And now you can see you don't see the excerpt. I like the excerpt, so I'm going to keep it visible. Here you can change the character length of the excerpt. So if you want a longer excerpt, you can slide this over, increase it. And now you see the excerpt is much longer. I think we'll leave it at 20. That looks good because it's 2 lines now and it looks nice and symmetrical, even. Category, you can hide the category or show it. I'm going to show a label. And now you can see the category shows up as a label. And when I hover over the blog post, it fills in the label or changes it to orange, which is nice. Comments. You can see over here it says 1 comment. If you don't want to show that, just click hidden. And now it's gone. And I like that better because it looks, everything looks symmetrical, looks uniform. Image, you can change the image height. So if I set this to 16:9 and then increase this to 100%, these are much larger. You can change the width, the radius. If you want to add rounded corners, you can do that, or even have it circular. Size, you can have it large, medium. This is the size of your image. Again, I recommend original. And now you can see this image, it was pixelated, but now it's nice and sharp. That looks really clean, looks good. You can add an overlay color, and you can have a hover effect The hover, I'm going to have it zoom in. And now it zooms in when you hover over each one. That looks good. You could have an alt hover as well if you wanted to. I'm not going to. Here you can change the text. You can change it to left alignment, right alignment. I like it centered. Change it small, large, extra large. I'm going to leave it at medium. And you can have hover effect, just like with the other menu items, the other elements. And you can add padding. So I'm going to go ahead and click apply because I like how that looks. And I'm going to update. And now let's go to the front of the page. We'll go to the home page. You see our nice animation? That looks nice. It zooms in. And if I click read more, it goes right to the blog post. Perfect. So I'll go back to the home page. And we'll go back to the UX Builder. Okay guys, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add our Instagram feed. Okay guys, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add our title for the next section, which is our Instagram feed. So we'll come up here to this title here and we'll click the gear icon and we'll click duplicate. And we'll go back to the main menu. We'll just click and drag this below the blog post element and you can see our title down here. So let's go ahead and double click that. And right here you could title this Instagram, but I'm going to call this Fresh from the Gram. There we go. It's kind of catchy. This time we're going to add an icon. So I'll click here and we're going to add the Instagram icon. There we go. That looks nice. Everything else I'm going to keep the same. So I'll click apply. And now we're going to add the Instagram feed. So we'll click add elements. We'll start typing Instagram. And we'll click Instagram feed. And they have these presets, but I'm just going to keep it on default. So I'll click apply. Now down here you can see it says Instagram has returned invalid data. And that's because we don't have our Instagram account connected to our Instagram feed yet. This is a default Instagram username, so we'll just get rid of that. And this is where you put in your Instagram username. So I'm going to put in mine. And you can see it hasn't changed. It still says Instagram has returned invalid data. That's because we need to connect. I need to connect my Instagram profile to this Instagram feed. So I'm going to go ahead and click apply. And I'll update. And I'm going to show you how to connect your Instagram profile to your Instagram feed. So we'll go back to dashboard. And up here where it says Flatsum, we'll come down to advanced. And then in advanced, we'll click Instagram. And this is where you connect your account to your Instagram feed. So if you open this link, this is a Flatsum documentation, and it tells you how to connect to your Instagram API. As of the making of this video, you have to create a Instagram business account in order to connect it to your Instagram feed on your Flatsum store. So you can click this, and this will tell you, this is Facebook, how to set up a business account on Instagram. You're going to have to use your mobile device in order to do that, as you can see here. You can't do it from your desktop. So what I need to do is, I'll go back here, I'll close this. I need to log in with Facebook. So after you create your Instagram business account, you log in with Facebook here. I'll go ahead and log in. And it should bring up my, there it is, connect account with flatsumdemo.com. Yep, connect. And now my Instagram business account is connected to the Instagram feed. So if we go back here to the UX Builder and double click on Instagram feed. And let me go ahead and click apply, update, and refresh the UX Builder page. And there it is. Here's my Instagram feed coming right off of my Instagram account. So I'm going to go ahead and click this again. And let's go ahead and set this up. So you could also put in an Instagram hashtag, and I believe that would bring in someone else's Instagram page. Images, you can change the amount of images you want. So you can see there's 10. I believe that's all I have. Let me see. Nope, I have 12. Okay, good. So you can see there's 12. There are 12 images now. Captions, you can turn them on or off. I don't have any captions, so I'll just leave that on. You could have an image overlay color if you wanted to. I'm not going to though. And we could bring the opacity down so that would darken. Cancel that. You could have a hover. You could have a zoom in when you hover. I'll go ahead and keep that on. Layout. Type, we have a row. And we also have slider. So now it's a slide. So I can click over here. And I'll go through to the next slide. Container width, I want to change this to full width. There we go. That looks better. Column spacing, right now it's collapsed. There is no spacing between each photo. If you want, you can add extra small spacing. You can go all the way up to large. But I like it collapsed. I think that looks nice. Columns, how many columns do you want to show? I want to show 6 since I have 12 photos in the slide. You can go all the way up to 8. You could add depth, which is again, the shadow underneath. Depth hover. You keep those set to 0. You could have it animated if you want. You could change the slider navigation. Now it's a circle. I'm going to keep it on reveal. Actually, I'll put it on simple. Looks good. And the rest of this is pretty self-explanatory because we've gone through the slider controls before. One more thing I want to show you, and that is if I change this to row, now you can see it's a double row, full width, which is really, really nice. Some people like that better. But I'm going to change it back to slider. I like the slider myself. So I'm going to go ahead and click apply and update. And let's take a look at it on the front of the page. There we go, fresh from the gram. Nice. Awesome. I love it. Now one thing I noticed is I forgot to make this container. I don't want it to be full width. So let's go back and go into the products menu. And when I copied and pasted that from the women's products, I forgot to change that. So right where it says width, I'm going to change that to container. There we go. Click apply, update. And now I'll see it on the front. There we go. I like that better. Gives it a little bit of variation. Spices the page up a bit. Breaks the monotony. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we are going to add our contact form.